Migraines, dizziness, blackouts. Patients with those problems often say they've really tried everything.
Right, except perhaps NUCCA treatment. Maybe you haven't heard of it. Only a fraction of doctors in the world practice it, but one of them is right here in Omaha.
Right here on the Morning Blend, too, from Spinal Balance Health Center. Welcome back, Dr. Drew Drummond, and one of his patients, Scott Borman. Thanks for being here this morning.
Good to see you.
Dr. Drummond, we're going to talk to you in a second, but every time you come in, you bring in jaw-dropping results. Scott, we're going to start with you. Talk about the problems you were having. You were blacking out.
I was blacking out. It typically was when I turned my head to the right, so I would drive pretty guarded. I had blackouts probably a good 3 or 4 times a day, sometimes more depending on what I was doing as an activity.
For how long were you blacking out?
It was just like somebody flipping a light switch on and off, but then I'd see like spots and stuff, and I've had headaches and just a bunch of muscle pain and that went on with it.
And it had been going on for 5 years?
5 years.
5 years. It started a couple times a day you would black out,
Yeah.
and then toward the end about 5 times a day, up to 5 times a day.
Yeah.
And then so have you tried other types of treatments? What did you try?
I've gone everywhere. I've had nerve stimulation so they can find out where the problem was. I've been to the Mayo Clinic and they couldn't figure out anything, and it's just been 5 years of doctoring. And I actually went through my medical statements last night, and over the 5 years I've vested probably $35,000 to $40,000 out of my own pocket to go to different doctors, and
it still didn't fix the problem.
No.
All that money, and you were still blacking out. So how did you come to see Dr. Drummond? I mean, if you'd been to the Mayo Clinic and then he's in your backyard.
Well, we pretty much gave up on anything because I've been to the Mayo Clinic and they said there's nothing wrong, and I seen him on your show and I said I don't have anything to lose, so I went to him, and that was 19 days ago, and I haven't had a blackout since.
So you saw him on the Morning Blend.
And you have
the day he brought another guest who saw him on the Morning Blend.
Yes.
Yeah.
And since then you haven't had any blackouts, nothing.
That's remarkable. You must be elated, thrilled
Yes.
that things have turned out this way for you.
Yes.
Yeah, because you're a young guy with a young family. That's impacting your life.
And dealing with this for 5 years, it's just...
Yeah, you resort to anything almost.
Right.
What was going on with him, doctor?
Well, what was going on it goes on with a lot of people, and a lot of people out there might not have blackouts. It's kind of it's a unique type of symptom, but one of the reasons that I brought Mr. Borman on is because a lot of people have really similar stories, but different symptoms that are being affected, and they'll go from so many doctors and not really have the answer. And they've done all the tests, and they've done all the MRIs and the CT scans, and what we found was wrong with him was a misalignment up at the top of the neck. It's what a NUCCA Doctor corrects. And when that bone at the top of the neck is out of place, it will interfere with the communication systems within the body, your nervous system, and you're going to see a little diagram of that or a video of it here. And this communication system, when it breaks down, it'll affect the body's ability to heal and maintain itself. It'll throw the posture off, and it'll add stress throughout the entire structure, and then symptoms in a variety of ways can just bubble up to the surface. And when conventionally we go and we do the MRIs and the CT scans, but what all those diagnostic tools are doing is trying to find soft tissue changes. Maybe something's there that shouldn't be there, or something that isn't there that should be, or did I say?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah,
or torn tissue, something like that. And the upper cervical subluxation doesn't cause any of that. You have to have a very specific film in a very specific way, looking for a very small misalignment in order to correct the problem, and the other diagnostic tools just won't find it.
Yeah, your point is that it's just a small adjustment, but it can cause big problems, and sometimes that's where you hear people say, I've just tried everything and nobody can help me out.
We'll see it a lot in fibromyalgia patients, chronic fatigue syndrome, headaches, and even back pain patients that will go into an orthopedic type doctor, and they look all over and they just can't find the problem. It's because there's no tissue change.
Yeah.
So how do you know if you should try NUCCA? How do people out there watching, they have some sort of symptoms, maybe not up here, not up in the head area or the neck area, but how do they know that they should come see you?
Really, what I need to do is look at it. You have to find a doctor that does something like I do, and can look at your posture for one. The posture's got a bunch of great indicators in it. I can just look and I can almost see within a real certainty whether or not there's an atlas problem, but to actually know how to correct it, we have to take a picture of it in a very specific way, and then once we correct that and get these communication channels of the body working right, it's really amazing how the body can bounce back and start healing itself.
It's also amazing how gentle this is, and we're looking at video right now. Yeah. Scott, you must have been surprised that something so mild had such an effect on you.
Yeah, there's no pressure at all, and it's...
Yeah, there's no popping.
Yeah.
It's not, yeah.
We were out in the hall and we were just talking about some of the diagnostic tools that they'd used previous to coming in to see me, just to try and figure out the problem were more painful than what it was actually the treatment.
Right.
So how often will Scott come see you? I mean, is it a maintenance type of thing as well?
Yeah, well, initially we have to get that misalignment stabilized, so it's not a one adjustment fix. I would never claim to be able to do that. That's impossible.
Sure.
But after a few initial visits to get things stabilized, then appointments move out to being hopefully as infrequently as possible, but regularly.
Well, it all starts with that first visit, and when you come see us, I know it's important to you to sort of reach out to people like Scott and say, just come visit with me, let me see if I can help you out, and you make it incredibly enticing with an offer like this, and you see the details there. The first 30 people to call Dr. Drummond's office, you receive not only the consultation, but your exam, even x-rays, and we all know how expensive x-rays are, all of that for just $50, and it is a $245 value. We're pleased for you that you're experiencing such success, 19 days and counting, and we hope that it continues. Dr. Drummond, it's nice to see you again.
Yeah,
the phone number, so you say, great, Mary, I want to be one of the 30. Who do I call? It's 452-3400, 452-3400. Again, the first 30.
Yeah, thanks for coming in, Doctor.
Good to see both of you. Thank you very much. Nice to see you. Up next, maybe you've heard...